How is it going, lads and ladies, and welcome to episode 2 of What's the Quack podcast. Today I have a very special guest for you lot. He's been a close friend of mine for many years, has been part of many of the best stories on my channel, and he even has his own channel here on YouTube that I'll link in the description and the pinned comment. Do go check him out, and I highly recommend the video titled The Ballad of the Boy Racer. He is, of course, the one and only PJ. I hope you enjoy. Was it the name that you suggested, What's the Quack?
Yeah,
I ended up using that even though I hate it. I was just so fucking... I couldn't think of anything better, and I was just like, oh, fuck it, he was right. Fucking... It just seemed a bit too on the nose, like, you know.
Yeah, sure, look, when aren't I right now? In all the years you've known me now. Can you outline one time I wasn't right? You'd be hard pushed, I'd swear.
That night, when we were fucking below in Cork, when we were meant to be drinking, and you said it'd be grand, and it wasn't grand at all.
But sure, aren't you still here?
Was it?
Look at you now.
Yeah,
look at you now.
It wasn't grand that night. Slept in the car. I got fucking woken up by the guards at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but sure, don't you fucking make bank now off of fucking telling these classic stories. So it mightn't have been grand in an immediate sense, but it worked out fairly fucking grand. So
that's a fucking story I should tell actually on the video.
Yeah.
It'd be great. I was like, we were fucking ossified that day. Do you remember we were like parking up at Casey's and walking down the hill? And like, we were pissed. We were sober at the top of the hill and we were fucking wankered by the time we got to the bottom of it. I
think this was the same fucking time.
That's when Louis was throwing fags at me, man, to get him around the town.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Fucking the rickshaw boys.
The lads and the old fucking sulkies, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Louis near topping him, fucking whipping your man with his fucking belt kind of job, yeah. Like a fucking chariot in Rome or something.
Yeah. But, old fucking Caesar's yoke there, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And, you'd see him and you'd let a roar over to him and he'd be just like fucking, yeah, he'd just probably call you a pair of queers from across the town or something, fucking mushing his chariot around the Coliseum that was Cork city centre. Yeah, I think that was the same night there. Do you remember I commented on one of your recent videos about the bouncers? I said that you should have included the story of once we went into...
the night below the Brogue.
That's it, yeah. I think I might have been conflating nights there and, well, not to say it only fucking happened once, so it is all much for much, really. Just one night anyways, it was myself and yourself, and I think it was a night with Louis and the other fella, and we had the great idea of getting a bottle of Jägermeister, full-on bottle of Jägermeister, and we fucked it into do you remember the cheap Red Bull that you could get? Yeah,
was it like Blue Shark or some Blue Spark or something out of fucking Aldi or Tesco's, yeah.
That's it, so we'd get a big 1.5 litre bottle of that or whatever the fuck it was, and we'd throw out the most of it anyways. And we'd fucking fill in all the rest of it in with the Jägermeister anyways, and sure, the pair of us had it downed before we fucking got in anyways, and the idea was, okay, if we fucking drink this as fast as humanly possible and we get into the pub, by the time we meet the bouncers we won't be pissed because it won't have gotten its way into our blood yet. We were the clever boys.
Yeah. So the delayed reaction of it.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. But whatever way it panned out anyways, sure, we got in the door the finest. I don't know how long we lasted in there, but I don't even remember this happening. This is just purely you telling me the story, but supposedly I dropped, just face planted in front of a bouncer at one
so
point.
What happened? We were in there for...
Turns to you, says, get that lad up off the floor and fuck off.
Yeah. So what happened there was we were in the Brogue for about a half an hour. I remember I wasn't actually overly sauced myself at this point. And you turns to me and you're like, oh no, you were going to the bathroom. So you fecked off to the bathroom there anyway. And you were fairly steaming at this stage.
This was old Brogue, I believe.
Yeah.
This is before they went getting notions and doing the place up.
Before they done the place up. But you were already fucking steamboats there going to the bathroom. And was maybe about 5 minutes later, I was like, Jez, I must go to the bathroom myself now. Make sure PJ's alright and abroad. So I was queuing to get into the bathroom. There was a bit of a bastard queue there. And as I was standing in the queue, you came out of the bathroom.
Right, it's a good start.
And saluted me. And as you saluted me, fell straight in your face on the ground. And I just went to pick you up. And as I did that, I noticed a shadow beside me. And I turned and looked. Big fucking bouncer standing over you, looking down at him. Then looks at me. Obviously, you can see that I know you. Yeah. And just went to me. Get him out of here. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I can't even argue his case here. He's flattening his face on the fucking ground.
Yeah. The old centre of balance was such that probably when I saluted you, I probably fucking threw the whole thing off and just good luck and thanks.
Yeah, you kind of stopped focusing on walking when you were saluting and the legs just kind of went.
Yeah.
They buckled.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised I had the space to fall down because they used to fucking jam that place like a fucking traveller's wedding.
Oh, stop.
So.
Because that was still early in the night. I think it was only about 12 or so. And I was like, oh shit. So we're outside the Brogue, and I remember was ringing Sarah because she was saying she was at a house party.
Oi.
And I was just like, she could look after her here now and I can go in and knock a bit of crack out of the rest of the night there, like, you know.
Oh, sniffing for
yeah.
gold.
So I give her a shout there anyway, and she was like up at some lad's flat and she gave me directions. She's like, yeah, drop him up there, I'll look after him. So I was like, yeah, fine. So I walked up the road for 5 or 10 minutes. I then spent 45 minutes outside the flat ringing her and she wouldn't fucking answer the phone even though she answered it not 5-10 minutes beforehand. And then eventually I think I just brought you home then for a finish.
I don't think we had the flat at that stage. I think this is the trouble you see now because it's getting...
So many fucking nights running together.
Yeah, the more fucking time goes on, the harder it is to discern what night was what night because we lived in Cork for a spell. I'm still living in Cork, but... Yeah, we had a gaff in Cork there for I don't know. We'll say for our sake of argument a year. I don't remember how long, but that particular night now I can't fucking place what happened after the fact. But yeah, jeez, we had a good few nights in that little gaff that we had. We used to live in a gaff over the Burger Shack, which is still down there.
Yeah. That was fucking where we did nothing but fucking ate Subway.
Subway, that's it. Yeah.
I've never eaten a Subway since we've moved out of there. I was so sick to me fucking whole of Subway. It was just too handy as well, like, because it was just next door, like, so you wouldn't be fucked going anywhere.
Sure, that's it. Like, it's a pure nuisance having to go away doing fucking shopping and all that fucking shit. Yeah. Although it was during that time I perfected the one meal that I can cook today, thanks to your tutelage. The old stir fry.
Oh, the stir fry, yeah.
Before that, the fucking full extent of my ability was toasting a pair of waffles in literally in the toaster. I'd fuck the waffles into the toaster and then I'd a fucking hooch a heap of cheese in them and the cheese would melt into it then, so you'd have a cheesy waffle. And I thought I was fucking Gordon Ramsay then. Like, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking unreal, hey.
Just get a shout there for the kids who say, Ducky, look at this, lad.
Look at this, lad.
You've just made buttered toast.
Yeah, kind of thing, yeah. Fucking, yeah, it's cooking. What a fucking pain in the balls.
Yeah, sure, I'll probably throw it over to some questions there that we're getting from the old audience.
Right, yo.
Draken Boy asks, what would describe living with Ducky in a couple of words? I suppose since I did the kind of whole video about living with yourself and Hef, that people are curious because it was in one video in particular I said that I mentioned all your traits and flaws.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I said I was perfect because I'm perfect.
Yeah, fucking perfect. Yeah. At the time, living with the pair of fucking Ducky and Hef, living with the pair of them as a non-smoker at the time, I hadn't quite been ground down by life to the same extent by that stage, so... But at the time anyways, as a non-smoker, it was a right fucking pain in the hole because if you put anything fucking down at all, that joke was an ashtray. If you took off your fucking shoe, there was one of them tipping fucking ash into the bastard thing. Oh, for fuck's sake. Like, if you lay down on the couch on your side, they'd be tipping fag ash into your fucking ear. It was an absolute pain in the fucking hole. I swear to God, the ceilings were fucking black.
Yeah, there wasn't a fucking thing in that house that wasn't used as an ashtray at one stage.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
just go back to the toaster there. Like, you just pop your toast, it's fag ash all over.
That's it, yeah. When it springs, you get this black cloud up out of the fucking thing. It was an absolute fucking pain in the bollocks. Then there was... Well, this is more of a Hef story, but... Hef had a fucking serious problem with doing washing up. Now, that's not to say I was any better at it. Fucking Christ knows I wasn't. But if a plate that he had neglected had went to the point that it had started growing fucking mold and whatnot, he would just elect to fuck it out. So...
Yeah, that's the thing though. We didn't really use plates and cups all that often. Do you remember Hef went off there one day and he came back with a 12-pack of disposable plates he got inside Dunn's so he wouldn't have to wash up every time he ate.
That's right, yeah. My ex-young one at the time was fucking, like, that's horrendous. Like, that's a fucking terrible idea. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's a fucking brilliant idea. It's the fucking
greatest idea ever, let's be fair. Like, I was tempted to do a few times a year just so I wouldn't have to be doing the wash up. Like.
Yeah. Jesus, I was fucking half tempted to get onto a cash and carry someplace and say, bring us down a fucking pallet of those fucking paper plates to fuck.
Yeah.
And fuck this washing up, like. I mean, when you square it this way, that you've got, a finite amount of time to live, I think this is a fact that people are fucking way too divorced from, and they think, that putting up with shit is fine because, sure, Jesus, they're never going to die. But, my point being, life is too short to be wasting doing fucking washing up, so... Fuck that.
Yeah, it's fucking really not enjoyable as well. You notice that when you start living with a woman as well, because they go fuck, they like everything spotless, like, and their standards on what they consider dirty. I'd let a week go by before I'd start looking at this house and kind of going, alright, I'd probably pick up some fucking clothes there and wash the dishes or whatever. She's like that within hours.
There's a very fucking strange dichotomy though that goes on there. like, in one sense, women are cleaner, all right, but then in another fucking sense, Jesus, they love shite. Like, they love filling a gaff to the rafters with fucking crap.
Oh, to do fucking Connie's big one now. Candles.
Yeah.
And
that's a fucking fire hazard.
It's a fire hazard.
That's a fire hazard.
And she only buys them in 2 cents. So there's the scent number 1, washing powder. She has about 20 candles. They all claim that they're different scents, but they're all fucking smell exactly the same. They smell like fucking Febreze.
They smell like wasted money, lad. That's what they fucking smell like.
Yeah. And then the second type, which is the worst, is the one that smells like a chemical irritant that gets into the back of your throat. You're walking around the house going, what the fuck made her think that this was a pleasant scent?
So you've got your chemical irritant, you've got your psychological and emotional irritant, you've got the whole 9 yards there. Like, one thing that you could be fucking sure of is you're going to be fucking irritated.
Yeah, well, that's your fault.
That is my fault. Yeah. Suppose for the listeners there, I think we had a question there a while ago. How did you meet the woman? That's on me.
Yeah, it was your fault.
Yeah, because as you'll soon discover,
it was on the last podcast I did with Connie. We
did you mention it?
Yeah, we mentioned we pretty much covered it. Like, so.
Oh, right. Well, still, I'm going to take my chance to kind of go like, yeah, Ducky's getting big now and all that kind of thing, but I'm the man behind the curtain. I've been orchestrating his life since the year dot. I've
big fucking Truman Show job.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You're up there in the little fucking room there, looking out the glass with your hand pressed against it there.
That's it. All of his joy, all of his misery was a fucking... that was me. It was all...
Fall for Radiation asks, question for PJ.
Right.
What is the most frustrating game you've ever played?
Game of life, man. It's fucking nothing. Yeah, anyway, no, seriously. The most frustrating video game would be... I suppose I'm going to have to say Bloodborne because I broke my hand playing it.
Oh, do tell that story. That's a good story. Because I remember when I did that video about you busting the fucking headboard.
Yeah.
And like anything in my videos, people tend to question the validity of it. So do tell about the
It's true.
The hand.
It's true. Well, first of all, I'd like to say, with that whole thing, once you're living with a pair of dickheads, you have a fucking kind of a pent up anger, and you mightn't be fucking particularly. You mightn't be a violent man, so rather than fucking give the cunts what they've been looking for a good while, a good boot in the fucking hole, you just tend to kind of quash it down and kind of go, look, it's fine. But sure, then you'd be fucking playing a game or something and it might be going your way, and sure enough, all this pent up fucking rage would start fucking leaking out anyways. But fuck you, lad. But what was I going to say?
We never fucking helped in that situation.
No, you most certainly fucking didn't.
The problem is you used to get so angry at the games, like vocally, and you were like kicking shit over and everything.
Yeah.
And myself and Hef were just like, it's kind of annoying, but how can we spin this into a game for ourselves to knock a bit of amusement? So that's when we just start like pestering you. Like every time we hear you scream, we're just like, oh no, is the game a bit of challenge, lad? Is it? Oh no.
Yeah.
It's horrible, lad. Would you not lower the difficulty? Which would just annoy you even worse.
Yeah. Well, I think I was a bit of a fucking masochist in that sense, like, because as you did point out, I did have a penchant for fucking playing the games in the toughest setting, like fucking Legendary on Halo being the worst offender, I'd say.
Thank God I didn't fucking know you when you were doing European Extreme on Metal Gear.
Oh, hey, fucking that's... Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm still receiving counselling for that particular one. I don't know, I think maybe I kind of... That was my way of venting, was losing the fucking plot playing these games, and unwittingly I kind of started to come back to that again and again. It was like a kind of a little session where you get to kind of blow off steam, because this is definitely going to piss you off.
Or equivalent to hitting the boxing bag or something.
Yeah, something like that, because, fucking back then I wouldn't have been fucking... I wouldn't have been the most active of fellas. I'd walk to work and that'd be it. Yeah, so I guess that was it. But anyways, the fucking Bloodborne story. Yeah, so this happened when Bloodborne came out originally. There's a little small bit of backstory to this one. But I'd been working this job down in Cork where I was fucking in this repair centre where we fixed fucking phones and laptops and all kinds of gizmos. Anyways, that was the shop. That's what the shop did. And it was fucking hell on earth.
Yeah, you're really fucking unhappy there altogether, weren't you?
Yeah, Jesus Christ almighty, because once you're separating people from their phones and whatnot, and how hopelessly addicted we all are now to fucking technology and whatnot, I even see it myself. I'd say, like, I'd have nothing to check, no notifications, nothing I even want to see, but I'd notice I'm picking up the phone and I'm gone into, like, newsfeed apps. I don't even want to know the fucking news. I actively avoid the fucking thing, but it's just this impulse that I can't seem to fucking control anymore. But anyway, and I'm not even a social media fucking person. I only joined Facebook when it wasn't cool anymore because...
You're a hipster.
I have a bit of it in me, I suppose. But sure, look, no one's 100% sound. But
except me.
Yeah. Fucking, we put a bookmark on that one.
We'll come back to that one.
Yeah. So this job fucking was absolutely horrendous. It was terrible. You're getting these cunts coming into you and they're fucking screaming the house down because, you know, they're waiting on phone or they're waiting on a laptop or whatnot.
I suppose a lot of anger will come from even the sheer value of the phones and the value of having them repaired and stuff as well. Like, I noticed that when on CEX, like, you'd be dealing with people. And like the more the price goes up, the more angry people get when, you know, things go awry or things don't suit them.
Well, the trouble is, you see, you're in the business then of telling people nothing, only bad news. If everything goes to plan, like, because, you know, you're dealing with people that are like, oh, I dropped my phone in the jacks, which is one that they've handed you the fucking phone and then they turn around 10 minutes later after you've fucking touched the damn things that, oh, I dropped it in the toilet. And you're like, oh, did you fucking ignorant bastard.
Would have been nice if you told me that you hadn't shit on the fucking phone before you handed it to me.
Yeah, you fucking ignorant bastard. But anyways, you had this kind of thing and then you were basically telling people stuff like, say, we did like stuff like water damage repair, but because when a phone, the inner bits of a phone get like oxidized, there's no telling how long it's going to last for before the board shorts out. So we'd in the fine print, you know, well, we'd explain it to the customer that we can repair this thing, but we can't guarantee that it's going to fucking last indefinitely and whatnot. But like, you know, the nature of the business is you're fixing things that already exist, when a lot of the time you might be as well off to just fuck off and get something new. But you can't really fucking tell someone that because, you know, your bosses are like saying to you, you know, well, no, you got to get fucking sales in here. So you're caught between a fucking rock and a hard place. But I'm really rambling about this fucking job, actually. Look, suffice to say, it was an absolutely terrible job. And I was doing it for a year and a half of, like, you know, people screaming at me every day. There was 100,000 messages at any one given time. You were
dealing with more bastards than your average retail job.
Yeah. It was by far the worst, and I reckon it shortened my life. I eventually decided, you know what, fuck this. Coming back to what I said earlier on, I kind of said, yeah, you're going to be dead soon. And like, and what are you doing wasting the only fucking resource that you have is fucking, you know, time and youth more. Yeah, and youth. You're
fleeting.
Yeah, your fleeting youth is fucking off out the window, and all you're doing is putting up with shit for fuck all pay, really. Like, I mean, you wouldn't clear 400 fucking quid in a week with the bastard job. So, you know, it was a load of misery.
Yeah, it's the same thing that drove me to do the whole YouTube thing where just fucking watching my life ticking away in a shithole job, and they're like, yeah, if I don't do something about this, I'm going to be doing this forever, and I'll only have my fucking self to blame for it then as well.
Yeah, essentially that. I eventually decided, fuck this, I'm going to quit this job. So I quit the job anyways, and the girlfriend at the time had bought me a fucking... I think for my birthday previous, she didn't know what the fuck to get me because, like, you know, who really knows what the fuck to get a girlfriend or boyfriend? I mean, like, I sure as fuck don't. Anyways,
like with women, I think it's sentimental shit, and
men, it's practical stuff. Yeah,
yes.
Give me something I can use.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, yeah.
Don't give me something I can just look at it unless it's a TV.
Yeah.
You know.
So the games that I wanted, they hadn't been released yet. This is 2015, mind. Since the birthday beforehand, it was like what. Metal Gear Solid 5, which is my favourite franchise, and Bloodborne, because it's, you know, it's in the whole Dark Souls. Yeah, it's by the same developers.
And you'd be a big fan of Dark Souls.
I'm a big fan of Dark Souls, yeah. I love the misery. I love the suffering.
Funny, actually, in that video where I mentioned you flipping your shit, a load of people in the comments says, has he ever played Dark Souls?
Have I? Fucking what?
Believe it or not, the angriest video gamer on the planet loves Dark Souls.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. It was out of all the Dark Souls games, it was Bloodborne was the one that got me. So this is how I'm actually, you know, really I'm digressing a whole hell of a lot here. But so I quit this fucking job. The girlfriend at the time had, for my birthday previous pre-booked both Metal Gear and Bloodborne, so I aligned the time in which I was leaving the job so that it coincided with Bloodborne's release date. So I was now free from I was free from the 7th ring of hell, and I was like, yay, now I'm gonna fucking play this fucking game. I'm gonna play the arse out of this. I'd saved up enough money to last me a while until I could find a job that made me want to fucking rope myself just a little bit less even. That was grand. Game came out and I spent like 48 hours fucking pretty much flat out playing it up until I got to the final boss of the game with relative ease, because, you know, I was no stranger to the whole Dark Souls formula at that
came
stage.
out after Dark Souls 3, didn't it?
Before it,
so
yeah.
You've had the experience of 1 and 2 under your belt.
I did, yeah. So I was kind of going into it kind of with a bit of prep anyways. So fucking tore through the bastard thing, no problems, up until the final fucking boss. Was it, for anyone that's played the fucking thing, your man Gurman, the First Hunter, I think is the chap's name. But he's a lad anyway, he's got a big fucking, big sickle thing. So you have to fight this bastard anyways, and like, as Ducky will tell you, I am nothing if not a fucking stubborn cunt. So, despite the fact I was, you know, fatigued from playing this game flat out for the last 48 hours.
Yeah, that was one thing of myself and Hef used to always laugh at. It was the more you die in a game, or, you know, the less you're persevering, the more frustrated you get, the more angry you get, the more tired you get.
Yeah.
So you play worse, meaning you're just going to die worse, and it was a domino effect.
A self-fulfilling prophecy, yeah, absolutely. I was expending any of my energy and will on shouting and roaring and going crazy. Once around this time, I was still living with Hef in Cork. We'd all gone through a few gaffes at this stage, but myself and Hef eventually moved down to Cork anyways.
That's when I moved back to Tip, I think, was it?
That's right, yeah.
Hef,
yeah. So Hef was in the house, friend Ben was in the house, or he was living there too. Casey was in the house as well. So we were all there, or rather, I was there and I was playing this game, and of course everyone else in the house knew it because I was roaring and screaming because I was refusing to back down and just call it a day.
Neighbours about 4 doors down knew you were fucking playing.
Yeah. I was refusing to just have a sleep and just, you know. And as well as this is all informed by the fact that I've had all this pent up rage from dealing with the worst customers in the fucking face of the planet for 18 months previous to that. So all this pent up fucking rage was coming out through me in a manner that I didn't really know what to do with. And I was keeping myself going on, like, you know, fucking cans of Monster and Red Bull and all that kind of shit, because I was determined I was finishing this game in, you know, as lively a time as possible so I could go out and do other things. I'm very single-minded. When I get my fucking mind on something, I won't leave it alone until it's done.
Oh, but I'd be like that as well.
Yeah.
Like when we were playing when The Witcher 3, when I thought I'd give that a go because everybody was shouting on about how great it was and all that.
Yeah.
I literally had to wait until I had a video finished before I even published it, just so I could set aside a week, because that's all I would want to do once I start it, and I won't do anything else. Yeah.
Counsellor told me one time that I have 2 modes, obsessed and depressed. So, yeah, so if
I'll get that on a t-shirt, lad.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was one of the obsessions. I had to get this game finished, and it wasn't going my way. It didn't work out for me, and I was losing the plot. But the tide was starting to turn, and it looked like I was starting to get the better of this final boss. And after doing a big dance with the motherfucker anyways, and I'd say there was another belt or 2 in it, and he was done, and I had the game finished, and I could fuck off and do something else at long last. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he fucking pulls this move out of his fucking arse and one-shots me out of nowhere. After a flawless run, more or less, I was just taken out of the game by this move. I remember Casey was in the room with me at the time. Well, a controller flew past his head, barely grazed the tip of his fucking nose, hopped off the wall at the far side of the room. I fucking got up anyways, and there was right beside me was a fucking solid wood wardrobe.
Real old-fashioned oak, dense, solid bastard yoke.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Fucking, this yoke will be around once we're rotting in the ground type of job. Good fucking proper.
That's all that'll be fucking left when humanity's gone. Just wardrobe.
It was no fucking IKEA yoke, no fucking chipboard or MDMF or none of that shit.
This was built back there about 200 years ago.
Yeah, that's it. But this yoke was fucking carved out of a fucking weeping willow or some shit. But sure, I just turned around anyways, and I leathered the fucking thing as hard as I could because, I'm a very angry man, but I'm not a violent one. I wouldn't, I don't belt people. I end up belting inanimate objects.
You'll regret belting a person, whereas you'll just tolerate punching something solid.
Yeah, it's not that I don't want to belt people, but I'm pragmatic to a fault. I kind of know that there's going to be a whole pile of other shit that I'm going to have to deal with if I end up doing that.
One thing I'd say about you is you hate hassle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and boxing somebody comes with a fair bit of hassle.
It does, yeah. You fuckers up asking you questions. It's probably a day in court, fucking hell. And I've never had the experience.
Fat cunt sprinting across the dance floor going, "Where is that bastard?"
Yeah, but anyways, fucking... So I punched the fucking wardrobe and I knocked it clean over because I hit an unmerciful slap. It was all my rage was behind the fucking thing. The fucking thing fell over anyways towards Casey and he was like, "Oh shit," and fucking got out of the way. And I was shouting and roaring for a while anyways. But sure enough, anyways, Casey was like, "Fucking, I'm gonna lay him to it here. I'm gonna let him fucking settle down." So he went away. About 45 minutes later, he came back into the room, and of course, I'd picked up what remained of the controller, and I was fucking giving it another go, sure. So I don't know what had happened, but there was no pain or anything, or else I was just so hyper focused that I didn't.
But it's just the adrenaline from the anger, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, I didn't notice it, but I wasn't in any discomfort, anyways. But when Casey came back up to the room, he was like, "Here, lad, will you look at the state of your fucking hand?" So I was like, "What?" Looked down at my hand anyways, and sure enough, my hand is about fucking 4 times bigger than what it normally would be, and it's a kind of it's got a blue hue to it, Yeah.
And
I was like,
actually one of the things I didn't mention in the video about your faults as well was you don't actually have bones made of adamantium.
Yeah, and I found that out the hard way. Yeah, so the small finger on my fucking right hand is fucked. To this day now, my grip in that hand is kind of a little bit bollocksed.
That fucks up in your cold weather as well. I often hear you complaining about it.
When it gets cold, yeah, for whatever fucking reason, it sets it off. But yeah, it was a fucking horrendous experience. And the girlfriend at the time then had to come down and drive me to the doctors. And like I remember going up with her in the car, and here I'm sitting there with this injury that anyone would assume that I would have gotten from maybe getting into a bar fight and getting pissed or something like that. And I was just there in my own head kind of thinking, I hope to bejesus they don't ask how this occurred. And of course they fucking did. Like, I had to sit there then beside the girlfriend at the time. And in fairness to her, she wasn't saying much about it. I'm sure, she had her own fucking thoughts about it anyways. Like, what the fuck am I doing going out with this lad? He's fucking...
I just imagine like the doctors at a hospital and they're like reading their charts and it's like, how did this happen? They're like, bloodborne.
Yeah.
We've got another one.
Yeah, so that's the story about how I fucking broke my hand playing Bloodborne anyways. And to this day, that fucking game and the developers are laughing at me because...
Did you beat the boss for a finish?
Oh, Jesus, good man, actually, yeah. I fucking did. I bet him with the broken hand. So I did. And the half-fuck controller.
Well, if that's not the ultimate revenge, like I bet him with the hand that he broke.
Is that not a story of fucking triumph over fucking...
That's the underdog story there, yeah.
Yeah. David versus Goliath. Yeah, so the point of the matter is I won and I came away the big man. And to this day, my fucking hand gets sore in the cold. And will do until I'm dead.
So a happy ending.
Yeah, I'm happy enough with it anyway.
Does it get sore when you're having to toss though? That's the main thing. Like if you can still manage a toss without getting sore, has it really impacted you?
Yeah, you can get away with the toss now, alright. Well, in an ideal world, it wouldn't be you doing the tossing, but sure.
This was something I mentioned with Connie in the last video, because I was talking about my cock, as I usually am.
Yeah, in fairness.
I think I said something to her about getting a silver medal for it. And she's like, why am I getting silver? And I was like, well, because I can do it better. And she's like, how can you do it better? And I was like, it's like a fella can make himself blow a load in about 30 seconds. 30 seconds flat, like,
Yeah.
That's that. And she was completely blown away at the thoughts that a fellow could do it that quick and would want to do it. And I'm just like, no, we only last long for sake of our reputation, like,
Yeah,
we wouldn't
to feed the ego. Yeah, fuck, I remember I had that with a girl one time where it was like fucking, fair play to you, lasting long kind of thing, and I was just there in my own head.
I've never had that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the right fucking answer to that. It doesn't go one of two ways, but if you're going at it after a feed of old O'Shea of a night, you could be fucking flogging the thing with a plank and you forget about it.
Yeah.
So I think it was one of those nights, but in my own head I was kind of like, no, I wouldn't be a considerate lover now. It's more to feed the ego, that whole insatiable beast.
I had it one night where I had a fetus sauce in me. And this is where I lasted really long, but it didn't help me in the slightest because I was with the ex at the time.
Yeah.
And we got up to the bed after a feed of drink, and sure, she pure fucking randy, like mad for a bit of Mickey. Because she was so pissed. Like, women always do this when they're drunk. They're like, let me do things to you. I want to suck your dick. And you're like, yeah, fuck it, about time you're being I'm the one that's always given. Like, that kind of, I ate in your box the whole time. But yeah. You know, lad, eating spuds, like.
Not a toot in his fucking head.
But so yeah, I fucking got the jocks off me there anyway, and she's fucking polishing away the pipe there with her gob,
playing the flute.
Yeah. The old meat flute.
Knock a tune out of that.
So I was laying back in the bed there, eyes closed, just going, Jesus, this is great, isn't it? Next thing I know, got slapped right across the face. Fucking sat up in a bit of a shot. I was like, what the fuck? I had fallen asleep while she was sucking me off.
Jesus.
It was just got a fucking shot of drink in me, like it was taking ages, and I must have just dozed off.
It's like, I'm sorry, love, the whole thing, it brought me back to being in the womb.
Oh God. But fucking
dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy womb.
But the thing that made me laugh though is just the idea of me being passed out, her not knowing it, and she's still sucking away, and just the knob getting steadily softer. And her starting to doubt herself and her own skills, like.
Yeah, it reminds me of this one time, anyways. Joe, where you'd be absolutely stocious, and I was at this house party below in Cork, anyways, and fucking ended up. There's this young one there. I can't even fucking remember her name now, but it was myself and one of the boys. It's one of the boys from the videos actually. Fucking Connor. We were both at this same house party anyways, and we were fucking boozing away and ended up getting with this young one. But it wasn't a decision that I'd rationally decided, yeah, I'm going to pursue this one.
It just kind of happened, is it?
It was naturally one of those kind of, oh hey, cracking open the first can, next thing, scene missing.
Yeah.
And then you're on a couch at the end of the night and you're with this young one and fucking...
Yeah, I've had a couple of nights like that now.
Yeah. Whatever was the story with this one anyways, she was mad fucking randy anyways, and I was just kind of like, do you know something now? I'd sooner snake home, fucking fire one off into the fucking into the sink. And
is this now, because this is something I mentioned on the channel before about you being like really picky when it comes to women?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like I've yet to see you. So maybe in the history of you with women, I think maybe one of them was below an 8.
Yeah,
and that has a funny story with it. I'll probably do a video on it.
Great stuff. Yeah, I guess fucking like it's always been fairly binary for me in that either they're savage or they're not.
You're like a man that doesn't get the itch in the same way other fellas do. Like I remember, I've stooped to some fucking absolute cretinous looking women at times. Like,
you've slayed a few dragons.
Yeah. What's it they call them? Mopeds, like, fun to ride, but you wouldn't want your mate seeing you on one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Hey, 'tis a dirty puddle that wouldn't cool a hot iron.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So like I've definitely had a few of them, but you're not a man that seemed like for me a lot of the time was, Jesus, I'm going to pull my teeth out now if I don't get a bit of fanny, like, because like you could wet yourself, but it's not the same release. Like you don't have the same cool down period as you would. Like if you got a full on ride, you could go a few weeks, if not months, and not be fucking getting too shook from the idea. You have a wank, it might tie you over for a couple of hours.
Yeah. It's always been a case for me that it's like there's repercussions to be dealt with. Like, there's the old saying, there's great wisdom in the old sayings, and that's why I have a particular fondness for them. But there's no such thing as a free ride, and that is fucking true right across the board. So it's kind of like, it's not a case of, you're going to get the fucking ride and let that be that, and you're like, oh hey, you get to fucking walk away, untarnished. But no, that's going to follow you, boy. And especially like a housemate at the moment, actually, I'm giving out to him all the time because I'm very judgmental when it comes to the women that he's getting with. But it's more of a running joke at this stage. I'm not actually judgmental to the point that I'm a fucking bollocks. Well, actually, any of my ex-girlfriends would probably disagree with that statement. But
I tell you.
Well,
Your bollocks.
Oh, bollocks. Okay, all right. Well, there you have it. I am a bollocks. So anyways, I'd be taking the piss out of the current housemate anyways, because he too has slayed a few dragons in his time, and I'd be kind of giving him shit about it. No, the boy is able to do fantastic work whenever he puts in the effort, but
he's an artist with a Mickey, huh?
Yeah. He's definitely one of these lads now that come the end of the night, he's like, era fuck it, like, whatever's going.
I had a lot of that mentality in my early 20s as well. So.
Yeah. You see, the problem though is I find is it creates a kind of a mental feedback loop.
Oh, it does definitely hit your self-esteem a little bit.
Yeah,
because you're just like, you're not overly happy with yourself to be going to that level. Yeah. That kind of way. You don't come out of that unscathed.
Yeah. Now, this was kind of hard won in my head, but I wouldn't be the most outgoing or fucking supremely confident fella now by any stretch of the imagination, but it was the kind of thing that I kind of learned as I got older, is like as a man, we're not judged so much on our looks, thanks be to fucking Jesus. But
speak for yourself.
Well, yeah, well, Ducky is a very handsome, feathery chap, but
you take that back. Do you know what fucking day of the week it is?
What is it? Oh, fuck it, 'tis Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right, look, that was a joke. That was a...
Yeah. She was just having a bit of laugh. Didn't actually mean it.
No, not at all.
Ugly bastard. That's what he usually says.
It's frozen peas Wednesday. It's not Gay Tuesday.
Yeah.
What was I talking about?
Just the mentality behind shagging ugly women. Well, if we're just going to be blunt about it, I've no doubt there's going to be a few female listeners here that might think this is a bit harsh, but...
Yeah. It's like fucking... This could tank your career, lad. This could be like fucking...
I've done way worse on my channel.
Yeah, it's in fairness. It's like fucking that misogynistic bastard.
I've literally, 3 videos on my channel centered around women.
Yeah.
Living with a woman, quarantine, and everything I hate about women. But, you were saying about how...
Oh, yes. Looks and all that. So we're not so much like men, speaking as a man... we're very much kind of like, Jesus, you're one's a bit of a ride.
We're definitely programmed to be more physical in what we're attracted to.
We're much more aesthetically driven, yeah. Whereas, like, I've seen some fucking men that, they look like they have a fucking pot of bacon for a head.
I just mentally constructed that in my head, and I was just like, Jesus, yeah, I do know a few lads that do look like an old slab of pork there.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And they'd be
no reason, there's just red blotches all over their face and everything.
That's it, yeah. But you'd see these bastards and they'd have the finest of women going, and you'd be wondering, like, what the fuck is going on there? And the lad is probably funny, or he's got money. A bit of road frontage. A bit of road frontage never hurt any lad's chances.
Even that, you wouldn't even necessarily be funny or have any level of success. You'd just be charming. Just say the right things. Just carry yourself with confidence, I think, is the main thing that women tend to be attracted to in men. Yeah. A fella that can carry himself and he's certain with his decisions and decisive. That kind of... I think that definitely wets a few chairs.
That's it. Now, I wouldn't apply any of those criteria to myself right now. I just kind of go along with whatever happens. I wouldn't state that that's the case for myself.
But I'd say you're very well kind of self-assured and confident enough. I've never seen you doubt yourself much, and if you do, you do it intelligently, would be the word. It's not anything that kind of hits you in the kind of in your self-esteem.
Yeah, well, the self-esteem is kind of in the jacks in and of itself most of the time anyways, but where I find it kind of like, it's not thinking loads of myself, it's thinking so little of everyone else. It's a kind of it's this kind of thing, like, I won't lie, I'll just, I have the vast majority of people that you'd meet out on any given fucking night, they kind of fit a certain type of character that I have nothing but contempt for. The loud, obnoxious bastard when you go out to the fucking pub and whatnot. And it's like, I feel like, once you're out there and you're witnessing some of the lowest forms of fucking life acting the fucking bollocks.
Oh, it's just like the fellas out there trying to be the alpha male there, the big hard talk, building themselves up like, I'll fucking bet his head in, boy.
Yeah, you've got a lot of that, and I don't know, you've got a lot of these fucking, chino wearing fucking arseholes, and they're kind of, or these lads, they'd be out fucking trying to do a bit of peacocking or something, where it's like, oh yeah, we're out tonight, but we're all in fucking coloured suits or something.
Yeah, you're like, just fucking trying to draw attention.
Fuck off, you fucking sad prick. Yeah. But it's kind of like seeing those fuckers. I suppose I can't help but feel better about myself. And then I've, got probably half my weight in sauce in me. So it just kind of works out. It just has worked out fairly all right up to now. Anyways, the whole thing, like, yeah, men are fairly aesthetically driven, whereas women can get away with, men can get away with not being particularly fucking handsome. Thanks be to Jesus. And, you know, so that's kind of what we'd be after with women. Now, this is another massive digression. What was the actual fucking point?
You were with a young one on a couch at the end of a night.
Fucking hell, I'd completely forgotten about that. My mind is mush.
This is why podcasts work when there's more than one person.
Yes.
Just keep ourselves on topic.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so I was on the fucking couch of this one anyways, and sure, fucking, yeah, it was that kind of scenario, scene missing, here I am on the fucking couch, where the fuck did this young one come from? And all of a sudden, I kind of realised, I don't want to be getting off of this one at all. Most men are kind of, I remember a friend of mine, how she described it, she said, like, you know, most men did get up in a cracked plate. And she ain't wrong.
No, my heyday, I could have got up in a gust of wind, like.
Yeah. Like I said, you know, there is repercussions that come with this. You don't get to just flog away, go home, and there's no more about it. Most of the time, you know, once you're the ride is done, like, and the fucking, you know, the dust is settling, you're there then, and you're kind of fucking, you're left with this person who's looking at you like you owe him something.
You're fucking sitting there with that fucking moment of clarity that's descending upon you, like, and you're after realising what you're after doing, like.
Yeah, because now you're after fucking blowing every last bit of fucking desire what you had fucking someplace anyways. Maybe it is on the ceiling, maybe it is on the wall behind her, maybe it is on her back. You would, you know,
upper nostril person.
Upper nostrils, yeah. Fucking, yeah, this is it, like, could go anywhere. Could be in your own hair, could be in your own eyes. You know, once it's not in your fucking sack anymore, you're like winning. Putting
on your shoe and then just stamping it down to get it out, like.
That's it, yeah. You get home, you realise that your fucking sock is fused to your foot, but you have to burn the fucking thing off. But
Mac, you were telling me before about him drying his socks in the toaster.
Yeah. Fucking used to put him over the top of he used to wash him in the sink, fucking put him out over the top of the toaster, jam on the toaster, flip him over then to do the other side. And he thought he was a clever spy going.
Like, you're like, fuck, we have to put bread and eat out of that.
The funniest thing about it was he'd look at you like you were the odd bastard. Like, what's your fucking problem? Only drying me fucking socks.
Yeah, jeez, have you never seen a man dry his socks before?
Yeah, Christ, what way do you do it in your fucking house? Do you know?
So what happened with me on the couch anyway?
Woke up anyways, realised, fucking hell, I have no more interest in this now than I do in fucking learning to speak French. And I've no interest in learning to speak French. So I decided, fuck it, I'm going to have to somehow get out of this. So I was kind of like, you know, kind of teetering towards kind of like, here, look, I'm going to fuck off home there. And your one was kind of, whatever reason it was, maybe the drink or something. I don't know. I can't claim that I understand female sexuality because I flat out don't. So it was a case of like, she was raring to go anyway. She was fucking mad for it. And I was just kind of like, no, look, I want to go home, get sick, cry. And fit a wank in somewhere between those things.
Yeah.
She wasn't really having that, so she was like insisting that.
Is this about to be a fucking rape story?
Well, this is the thing, like,
hashtag, you know, Me Too job, like.
You know, there's a few stories like this, and like you'd hear it from the woman's side of things, from the Me Too kind of thing. And you're kind of like, that happened to me as well, but you know,
I'm a fella, so I don't get any fucking sympathy for it.
Somehow I wasn't as traumatized by it. I don't know, maybe it's the notion that it's, you know, well, in an ideal world, you know, women won't overpower you, but when you're from Tipperary where the men are men and so are the women, that's not always the case.
No, yeah, sometimes you simply don't have the muscle mass to fight them off.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Fine old men eans the women by.
They do, yeah, sure, they've fucking pulling ploughs for years over here. You know?
Yeah, there's some women to hoof bales.
Yeah, you should see their fucking traps by.
Yeah, when the silage season comes around by Christ, hooching square bales up into the back of a trailer.
They're only sharp to doing their own bales as well, lad.
Stop.
The shoulders and some of them.
Yeah, but so your one was decided, right, she was going to go at the flute because, you know, she was.
To be fair, it's a surefire way to get any man in the mood, like.
That's it, yeah. But I remember she was flat out at it anyways. Now, it was full of enthusiasm and all the rest. Just the enthusiasm was lacking on my side. And like, so I was there and I kind of said, right, look, fuck it. I'll try and make this happen because it might be the easiest way out of it.
Yeah. So spare her feelings a bit as well there. Like, you know, at that point when she has the cock in her hand, like.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a dickhead about it or nothing like that. So fucking, Yeah, so I was there and I was trying to focus the chi and muster an old horn.
But it's hard to fucking do, though. When you want to be hard and get there, so to speak,
Yeah.
and you don't physically want to, it's a fucking uphill battle, that is.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a mental game that you're going to lose. It's like, I don't know if it's ever happened. Do you ever just go for a lash, like in a public toilet, and there's a lad next to you, you're at the urinal and there's a lad next to you, and you're just sitting there and you're like, Jesus, how funny would it be if I was just got stage fright and I couldn't piss? Oh no. Just the thought of it alone just does a disconnect. I don't know if it ever happened to you, but it happened to me a couple of times before.
That happens to a bunch of people, yeah.
The idea of, and sometimes I'd be filled to the gills with drink where I really shouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but then I'll stand there and my brain go, how funny would it be if you couldn't piss? How awkward would that be for you? Yeah. And then I just can't, and I'm like, oh, fuck you, brain, fuck you.
Yeah, I've never had that particular one, but this whole kind of thing where you're kind of on the job and you're just like, you're trying to force your way through it. It's not something that most men tell stories about because, you know, as mentioned earlier, most men are just like, oh, hey, you're right.
Yeah, we should keep up the facade that we're all horny. You fuck horny bastards that only need a bare touching, like.
Yeah, and for the most part, that is fucking true. And it's like, it's not like that wasn't the case with me, but it was it was more of a fucking this pragmatism to a fault almost. So it was like, right, come on, so we'll try and fucking muster a horn here and just get this fucking job done and fuck off home. But sure, your one anyways, she went at the flute anyways, and sure fucking didn't it clock out in the middle of it. So it did.
Oh, you just went soft, like.
Yeah,
oh,
just clocked out in the middle of it, and like, well, your one was fucking disgusted, like she was fucking pissed off. Because she obviously took this as a fucking massive insult.
Yeah, but I suppose, like, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot now and we're fucking chatting up an old young one there or whatever, and they had some sort of physical mechanism to let us know that whether they're into it or not.
Yeah. I was sending non-verbal cues.
Could
you not have just said no? No.
But yeah, like if they decided to clock out mid, actually no, as a fella I don't think we're as concerned really. We were just like scratching an itch, but like I feel like, you know, some lads would be quite annoyed at that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so I could understand why she'd be annoyed because
fair
that kind
enough.
of brings her skills into question as well. Like,
that's it. And I remember I was trying to kind of go, oh no, it's just I've drank too much and yeah, fucking sorry, it's not happening. Fucking dick is just going to sleep, kind of job, you know, because I didn't want to be a fucking wanker about it. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, here's this one going at your fucking flute. I mean,
yeah,
like,
you don't
fair play, you know.
You don't want to spit in the face of that, like.
Yeah, Christ.
As I've often fucking touted on the channel there, like, you know, men love them a slut or a young one who at least put out quite easily. Like, there's a man alive realistically that doesn't like them.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't be complaining about that, like. Yeah. So, you know.
My point was, the only time you ever hear a man complain about a slut is if he's within earshot of a woman he's trying to get with.
Or if she's your fucking girlfriend.
Or that too, yeah.
Yeah, you could tell a few stories about that. Now, not your current woman, of course. But
no.
Yeah. Actually, there is actually another funny story about that. Well, it's not a story, but it's just a
spin-off.
The epilogue to this one, if you will. But I remember that was grand, and the fella, Connor, like, whose gaff it was at the time, fucking, we actually met in the pub that night, and he saw me with this one. He goes, oh, you're now he was telling me back this story because I don't remember everything that happened in between because I was buckled. And whatever instinct I had that this one wasn't for me, it was a strange one, because I was saying it to Connor anyways, and Connor turned around to me and he was like, so did you do the job with that one? And I was like, no, but I just, when it push came to shove, I just wasn't into it. And
I couldn't push it in.
Yeah.
Shove it in.
Yeah. So next thing, he started busting laughing. He was like, would you believe it? Precisely the same thing happened to me with that exact same young one a couple of weeks ago.
A poor girl.
Yeah, so she was after getting fucking stung bad by the pair of us. And then furthermore, like, this was before I was with...
is she the actual anti-horn?
There must be something to it.
The kind of Antichrist equivalent to the horn.
Yeah. I do remember she didn't have great breath, but...
Oh, I was with a girl there with really bad halitosis before, and...
Yeah.
I didn't think something so simple would be able to put me off so much.
Yeah.
You have to shift them at some stage, like, you know.
And they all like Stefandi.
And you're just like, Jesus, please tell me that you just haven't brushed your teeth in a while, because it actually smells like you've been fucking sucking on arse, like.
Fucking Christ.
Right in the middle of a vape, I got him.
You fucking
just walking up behind some lads there, just
Jesus Christ.
Hitting the old arse like you're hitting that vape there.
Fucking hell. But, what was I going to say anyway? Yeah, and then the next girl that I ended up starting going out with, Jesus, I think, was it they knew each other, and fucking, she knew people that I knew, and my housemate Ben was going out with a girl, and they were friends.
Oh,
and
so those stories been shared.
There was stories being shared, and I later found out that her version of events was completely different to...
It was just to save face on her behalf, though. You'd see that coming.
Yeah, this is it. But seriously, there was a fucking nice whack of lying done, so there was. I mean,
it was very embellished, wasn't
it? Yeah, fucking very much so. There was a complete other event added onto it that didn't happen.
What was this? Was it to make you seem like a complete bastard or something,
Well, to make me seem like I was on the back foot. But, like, you know, I tried to be as sound about it as what I could, and just fuck off and leave it alone.
Sure, look, being a man is a thankless job, you know?
Yeah. But sure, next thing one of the boys is telling me the story back anyways, that fucking the same one told his girlfriend that, fucking, she said that she met him out after that, and he was all pure, like, chancing his arm, and she was having none of it, and she's like, nah, fucking no interest in you.
Just trying to save face on some bit of it there, yeah.
Yeah, kind of thing. It's like, it's fucking, you know, hell has no fury, like, for fuck's sake.
I was sure, like, you're going to get that. Like, I remember the time when I broke up with the ex, the cheating whore, and...
she's only a cunt anyway, like.
Yeah, she was only a cunt. But yeah, when I broke up with her, and was maybe about a month later, I bumped into her aunt.
Yeah. The Auntie Santa.
But I had bumped into her aunt anyway, and I was always very friendly with her aunt when we were going out, like.
Yeah.
And she was talking to me, and she was just like, "Oh, sorry to hear that things didn't work out with me niece there and everything. Like, are you okay?" And this, that, and the other. And I was like, "Yeah, but sure, look, fucking." I didn't want to say exactly what happened to her aunt, you know, that kind of way. I was just like, "Sure, look, it just didn't work out, and that was it." And she was like, "Yeah." And then she kind of leaned in, and she was like, "Look, I'm not really supposed to tell you this, but she's pretty much after telling a whole lot of us that you were cheating on her nonstop."
Yeah.
And I took into a fit of laughing, and she said, "Doubt it was you that was doing the cheating, if I'm to be quite honest."
Yeah.
And I couldn't get over that she was like believing me over her own fucking niece, but sure.
Yeah.
I suppose it goes to tell how much of a cheating fucking slut she was.
History is written by the victor.
Yeah, so. I was sure that was the thing, like, you know, as I said, it was like, look, she can tell the family and her friends or whatever else what she fucking wants, as long as I don't have to fucking deal with that cunt again.
Yeah. There's two sides to button. More often than not, I've been on the bad side of that. Like, when it comes to, like, relationships and that, I must say, like, you know,
You struggle.
Yeah, I'm not good at them. A big fear of mine would be commitment.
It's just for the viewers out there, if any of you are an attractive female who's also an incredibly mental bitch, PJ's the man for you. He'll love you for about a year or so.
Yeah, for a while, for a spell. I'll lease you out, you know, 12, 18
They give you
months.
the mother of all pumpins for a good while. Like,
Yeah,
so you're not
it.
coming out of it empty-handed.
That's it. By fuck, they won't be. But what was I going to say? Anyway, it's fucking...
You get you with Twitter there, so you can get some heated DMs there now. A single man, I can live vicariously through you then as well.
Yeah, there's not much living going on, let me tell you. Drawing and trying to get this bastard YouTube channel off the ground.
That's one thing I was actually going to suggest for this podcast. Because my own thumbnail artist is just taking a bit of a break because she's burnt out. We should get you to draw up the art that's actually on screen for the podcast for this.
Oh, class.
Yeah. Get your own interpretation of Ducky and your own character there up.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, grand. So that's settled. So we'll move on to another question. Keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, go on.
Somebody said, what is the funniest thing you and Ducky have done to each other? The first thing that comes to mind when I was reading that was, do you remember it was me, you and Hef inside the gaff? We got obsessed for about a week for sticking sellotape across the door frame.
Oh, yeah. That was good, alright.
That was like a week solid of that, like to the point where we're all just walking out of the rooms waving in the air just to make sure there was no strip of tape there.
Yeah. It's pretty solid, alright.
It was another good time in that gaff. It was the time you pulled the chair away from, was it
Carey?
It was a Carey, yeah. I don't know why. It's such a simple, stupid prank, but in the middle of a game of Kings, one of the lads went to sit down, and PJ here just decides to move the chair about 2 foot back as he was going down. Just landed straight in his arse. It's like, you know, a joke as old as time.
There's a great elegance in simplicity And sometimes the best jokes are just the simple ones. And the sight of seeing a man falling on his arse when he expected a chair to be there is just one of life's simple fucking pleasures, really.
Yeah,
And
it's the same theory I have about that, like the hotel story video that I did before got received so well because it's fart humour. And it's the humour you really shouldn't find funny, but it's just hilarious anyway. You know, you're not proud of finding it absolutely hilarious, but it just gets you anyway, you know. I remember I was working with a chap in Euro 50 stores, like a pound shop. Yeah. And we had these, them re-inflatable whoopee cushions.
Yep.
They just kind of inflate themselves. He decided to get one of them and put it under his foot at the till. And just every now and again when he was halfway through serving a customer, he'd just press onto it and I hear... It's just like, it was the wettest sounding fart you could possibly imagine. But he was so good at keeping a fucking poker face.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'd even like lean into it and stuff where he'd just kind of go, oh, like, as it farted. It fucking nearly killed me. I had to walk off the shop floor and out to the back, like, just because I couldn't compose myself. I was in bits.
I have an aunt who legit does that, and let me tell you, it's not funny, it's fucking disturbing.
Jeez, my mother, God rest her, she used to nearly blow the fucking chair out from under her. It was like her anus was touching the wood, like, so it would just fucking the noises.
Christ,
and not one bit of shame, like, she'd almost announce it before she does it, like, you know.
You're your mother's son anyway.
Yeah.
But,
Ben Maguire asks, is Ducky your go-to bloke when you're feeling lonely of a gay Tuesday? It's different fellas for different things.
Yeah, it kind of depends. Like, you know, there's a kind of a...
Like, if I wanted to feel special, like if I wanted to be hugged or stuff,
yeah,
I'd go to Mr. Daley there, the co-creator there in Just the Tip channel, because he's lovely. He's very, very soft, very easy to talk to. I feel like he'd give you a cuddle if you wanted one, you know.
That's right. Sure, the last session that we were on, sure, even fucking I think he kind of took it upon himself to kind of mind you for that night.
Yeah,
but that
just I was fucking flaming, by.
Yeah,
the lad I'm missing, like, I feel the fear bubble up in me when I'm thinking about it, but I'm missing 5 hours from that night of memory.
Yeah, and there was no talking to you either. Like, I mean, at one stage there was no two ways about it. Like, we were down below in Cork, and anyone that's familiar with Cork, you probably know the lock. But we were at the lock, and this was about fucking 6:30 in the morning. There's a bunch of about 5 of us, and we were fucking absolutely...
I will prefix this with, like...
Steamboat
I had a bottle of rosé in me and a bottle of whiskey in me, like, at that stage, like, fuck. And I don't know why,
the rest.
I'm guessing with the rest. And I'm guessing with the whole COVID, I just assumed my tolerance had gotten a lot higher. It turned out not quite that high.
Yeah, but, there was no talking you out of putting your fucking legs straight into the fucking lock.
But here's the thing, I remember that.
You do?
Barely. I remember I just wanted to sit on the edge, but the thing is I didn't realise the water actually was up so high.
Yeah,
because I was pure cross-eyed with the drink, like, so I couldn't see, my depth perception was fucked. So I just plopped myself down. The second I plopped myself down, my feet just went directly into the water and whoop, bollocks.
Fuck yeah. Yeah,
but it was the second time we went to the lock, because the next morning I was talking to you and you were like, do you remember the lock? And I was like, oh yeah, I remember for the most part there. And you're like, yeah, sure. And we met the other two lads there the second time we went down. I was like, yeah, the second time we went down.
The first trip to the lock went so well that we decided we'd do another one.
We do love a good walk with drinking us, don't we? Especially when you've been fucking cooped away in the house non-stop for the last year. Like, you need to get out and about.
This is it, yeah. We were the liveliest lads out anyways, but we ended up meeting another pair of boys, one of which he's called around to the gaff since, for the old chat and the drink. But
yeah, he's added me on Facebook now, but the problem is I was so ate with the fucking fear the day after because I was missing so much of my memory.
Yeah.
That I'm like, God knows what the fuck I was talking to people. Like, you know, any inhibitions or fucking filter I had was gone. Like.
Yeah, sure. Once we were walking home, we had to coax you back out of someone's yard as well, because you got into your head that you needed a piss and you couldn't discern the difference between someone's front door and a Jack's. So fucking up to the front door you went anyways. Now, nothing came of it for a finish because you were coaxed back, but again, once we were like, will you come back away from the door to fuck, that's someone's front door, you were looking at us like we were the most unreasonable bastards.
Drunk Ducky doesn't take anything from anyone.
No, fucking, it's like we were giving you fucking shit for no good reason, like fucking, like, what are you at me for, you fucking dickheads? Leave me alone, will ya? I can't even have a fucking piss with you fucking wankers.
That night put the fear up me now. Like, I've not drank since that night. And it's like fucking, I'm just like, no, next time I'm on the sauce now, I need to fucking just keep a closer eye on myself now, because I just kind of let the ball go there now. And just fucking typical. Drunk Ducky there makes an absolute arse of himself, and sober Ducky has to wake up and deal with the consequences of it all then, like, deal with the aftermath, and like, oh Jesus, what the fuck.
Come here, what was the question we were addressing again there?
Is Ducky your go-to of a gay Tuesday? And I was just saying about how it depends on what you want out of a gay Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, it's kind of a little bit musical as well, you know, because like as your viewers no doubt know, you know, you as we previously discussed, you have a very baritone voice, you know, so it's kind of like, what kind of notes do you want to be listening to out of a man, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know, like if you had an array of them, you could nearly knock a tune out of them. But
could like an orchestra.
Yeah, that's it. And I've always been a fan of the old bass guitar. I used to kind of dabble with a small bit of it myself.
Yeah, because you're fond of a Gay Tuesday there now, and
that's it.
Will you be thrusting away there to try knock a bit of rhythm out of it?
That's it. Yeah. So it's kind of the sounds on the lower end of the spectrum would be my kind of thing. So if I was in that kind of mood, you know, for a bit of old distorted bass or something, I'd be straight on to Ducky. So that's
and you distort the shit out of that bass then at times, wouldn't you?
Oh, you fucking.
Stop to be times there now. When I come back from a Gay Tuesday, Cork there now, like, and I'd be fucking limping in the door there, like.
That's it, wincing with every step.
Yeah, that's it, like, you know, and fucking
tears in your eyes.
And the missus to be there, like, fucking looking at me going, "Geez, you all right?" I was like, "She's on grand, why?" She's like, "I sure Tuesday yesterday." I was like, "Yeah, but it was Wednesday today." Like,
it was Wednesday today, so
so let's not talk about it.
Yeah, put a fucking lid in it, like.
Yeah, fuck
you know, Christ Almighty.
There was a couple of lads asking me on the Discord server there as well, because a lot of lads don't understand the finer details of a Gay Tuesday, and they're asking like, what would happen if you were railing a lad as you do of a Tuesday,
right? And
it hit midnight, you know?
Well, what you try and do ideally is you try and get the old shot out, and hopefully you might get it down his back or something like that, and then the second that the clock strike tells you, go, "Look at the state of your back, you fucking bender." And fucking give him a boot in the arse in for good measure and fuck off.
Get off, you dirty puff.
You dirty article. But
you should be ashamed of yourself.
Jesus, if your mother could see you now. But
that was my answer to him. Is it's like, well, you wouldn't be having sex with a man after midnight of a Tuesday.
Yeah, Jesus, what are you, fucking queer?
Yeah.
Christ.
Jesus, no respect.
No, mother of God, yuck. Horrible.
Jesus, we've got a more serious question. Because when I put the post up, I said, like, maybe if you're looking for some advice, because I think we've been lads for most of our lives.
Okay.
And we might be able to offer some advice to the younger lads out there.
Yeah.
So this one comes from Tony, who asks, I'm 23 and I've lost touch with the lads I knew from school and beginning to realise my social circle is getting smaller every year. What's your thoughts on social isolation young men feel in Ireland, and what ways have you found to best make or keep up friendship with people, especially during these coronavirus circumstances?
Well,
I think like inherently men have a massive advantage over women just to begin with when it comes to maintaining friends. Because at least me and most of the lads I know can go very long time, like months, if not even years, without talking. And it's, you know, you kind of meet up and nothing's said about it. There's no ill will about it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine. Whereas you'd have the fairer sex with women and stuff. Couple of months will go by and they'll start harbouring grudges over it. You know, why aren't they keeping up? Why aren't they staying in touch? Why aren't they talking to me?
Yeah, so and they have it in the inverse as well, when they haven't seen each other after fucking, 9 minutes or something. There's a big fucking fanfare.
Yeah, that high pitched fucking squeal they let out there that fucking shatters every glass in a 5 mile radius.
Yeah, you have every dog in the vicinity going,
Yeah. The other thing I would say, 23 is probably around the age your social circle starts to get a bit smaller anyway. Like, you do have friends and they're going to go off pursuing their careers, or other women and moving away and stuff like that.
I read a study that said 25, but it's all much for much, really.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a thing that happens, all right.
Even now, I'd say, like, compared to us in our early 20s, our like friendship circle is way smaller than what it was way back when.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like,
but I would say, like, the core friends are still there for the most part.
Yeah, the B team are gone.
Yeah.
But you have the A team, and hopefully, in an ideal circumstances, you've played your hand right there. Like, I mean, it kind of helps if you're a good judge of character, and like more often than not, if you are a good judge of character, you'll find that the lads you were hanging around with will still be around when that shit starts to happen. Like myself and himself here now say, like, we were in school together and everything, and
I was talking up there this morning because somebody asked a question about how long we knew each other. It's about 16 years we've known each other now.
Is it that long?
Yeah, I was about 14, 15 at the time I was mates with
him.
That's how I met
right,
you.
Yeah. If you play your cards right, like, fucking you've made fairly solid friends and they'll still be around. But say a good mate of ours, a mutual friend of ours now, he had to move to England because of, fucking life. Like,
that's Dara. I'm going to have him on a podcast the next time he's back as well.
Yeah, he had to Ireland has no jobs for teachers, essentially, because it seems like everyone did a fucking arts degree and, kind of didn't really fucking know what they wanted to do. And then after they had the degree done. That's a big problem with the I could go down a rabbit hole here now, but I'll try not to. But it's a big problem over here in that you've got a gun put to your head in 6th year by whoever your fucking career guidance person is, and they're like, fill out that fucking CAO, and you have no fucking clue what you want to do.
Yeah, I hate that. It's like you're asking teenagers what they want to do for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fucking trust teenage me to cook a fucking pizza, much less pick my career to do for the rest of my life.
I don't know what I want for fucking dinner.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you asking me this shit for? And they expect you to be able to make good decisions. And not to say that, going into teaching or something is a bad decision, but I think everyone just kind of said, fuck it, I'll do arts. And that seems to be the way it worked out. But anyways, that's another digression. So our friend had to move country because he, the job, there was no jobs in the country for him. So despite the fact now that he'd be one of the A team, he's over in the UK. So that naturally means you won't see him as much anymore, and he'll be fucking doing things like same fella now, he's got a mortgage, and he's engaged and whatnot, so you're not going to see him as much. So even if you're fortunate enough to fucking hang on to a few good boys along the fucking way, the way things generally pan out is people will kind of disappear into obscurity, and it's hard to offset that as you get older, I find, because people, as they get a bit older, we're not fucking desperately old men or anything like that, but it's night and day, in the early 30s now, as opposed to the early 20s. You'd have buckets of energy. All you'd need is a whisper on the wind suggesting a fucking ball of pints or a session, and you'd be gone.
Yeah, but you wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah. Nowadays, you're kind of you're thinking about the fucking...
Am I arse? Do I have the money to really be spending on drink right now? And
can I be dealing with 3 days worth of a fucking hangover? All this kind of thing. So your opportunities to socialise, they definitely fucking diminish in no one's business. So to keep on top of that, I got a few jobs over the years, and through those jobs I met some people that fucking I had good time for, and I see them regular enough, not super regular or anything, but
you keep in touch often enough anyway.
Yeah, you'd be able to throw them a text and whatnot, and fucking so I think you just have to keep on top of it by kind of, through whatever jobs you're doing, try and make your connections through work. If you're of a creative disposition, maybe try and collaborate with people on ideas and things, you'll make connections that way. And, if you're like-minded, you'll probably end up fucking hanging around with them. But yeah, so I think in short, you can do precious little about, life kind of making everyone go their own ways and dispersing and whatnot. So you kind of have to keep on top of it by trying to make new connections and just putting in effort to maintain the friendships you have. And if that effort isn't reciprocated, you just got to accept it, let those people go. Don't flog a dead horse or anything like that. But
just accept that people will naturally fucking move away in time, because they may have different goals for their end game than what you will.
Yeah, that's it. There's a fair whack of people now that I used to be fairly close with, and
one of them now is because a few people have mentioned it in the comments as well. They're often asked, "Where's Hef?" And am I going to have Hef on the podcast?
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And
that's a good one, actually.
That's pretty much a prime example of just slowly losing touch with somebody because of life. Yeah,
life being a tosser.
And the long and short of it is, he was around the core group for a while. We're 3 of us were living together, and then me and you had moved to Cork for college. Me and you did the film school together.
Yeah.
And he stayed up here in Tip because he was working and had a handy enough job, and wanted to keep that for a while. So that was grand. And then I moved back to Tip, and was it he moved down to Cork? He got a job below there?
Yeah, what happened was, you came back up here, and I was trying to coax you to Cork, and unsuccessfully. That didn't happen.
Yeah, so Cork fucking riddled me with a rave anxiety down there as well, because I couldn't afford the flat that we were living in.
Yeah,
and there was so much fucking noise going on around me. At that point, it made me realise that if I'm ever to have a house, it has to be out of the country somewhere where there's nobody around constantly making noise. And And sure, we're fucking more or less living over a nightclub,
We were, yeah.
What was the name of that fucking place?
Havanas.
Havanas, yeah. In
Yeah,
Cork,
yeah.
fucking more or less just living like right across the street from
Right
it.
across the road. At the time we were living there as well was that fucking song, Joe, that I Follow.
Oh yeah, I know you're all walking down, I follow.
That's the one.
Fucking shouting down the road at fucking 3 a.m. Not that I was sleeping at 3 a.m, because, you know, that's just me sleeping better. But it was just really annoying to fucking hear every single fucking night.
Yeah, obnoxious cunts is never a sound that's fucking easy on the ear, no matter what hour of the day it is.
Not at all. So basically, so for my fucking time living down there, that just left me with a rake of anxiety. Like I was fucking, I was riddled with it. I was like, no, I need to be back in my safe space for a while now before I do anything. Like,
yeah.
So Hef shifted on down there. Then he started working below.
Yeah, I managed to get my wicked way with Hef. Anyways, I badgered him until he fucking came down and he got a job below, and that was grand. And it was actually, here's another example of me being the man behind the curtain, or the puppet master, or, you know, all this kind of things. Like fucking, I was actually Hef's best man at his wedding, and I took credit in the best man speech for
Them getting together.
For them getting together, because had I not badgered him into moving to Cork, he would have never met his now wife, and then that event wouldn't have been occurring. So
and we'd all still be friends.
And we'd all, look.
He wouldn't have fucking disappeared off the face of the earth there fucking 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I have a lot to answer for.
You really do, yeah.
I definitely do, yeah. Like, as I said earlier on, I'm also...
You slapped the ball and chain on my ankle.
Yeah, slapped the ball and chain on his ankle too.
Leading to the events, they got to have ball and chain on his ankle. And his kids and married and everything.
I never intended for any of it, though. I mean, had I my fucking way...
You'll fucking die now, and you'll be at the Golden Gates going, why can't I get in? And now fucking St. Peter will be standing there kind of going, look what you fucking did to the boys.
Yeah. There's no fire in hell hot enough for what you did, you bollocks. So
yeah, the long and short of it anyways, he got with a girl when he was down there, was it?
He got with a girl, they ended up having a kid, 2 kids now. You know, there's fuck all you can do about that, really. Like, I mean, he works long hours too, so... Yeah,
like, that's like, you can't really hold it against him because he's got fucking more important priorities right now. Like, he's got kids to raise.
And as we mentioned, as you get older as well, your fucking willpower diminishes like a motherfucker, so... You don't have the same well of energy to draw from, and even if you did, you'd be doing well to be able to make a comparable amount of effort with your friends, because you're just fucked.
Yeah, well, it was like the whole thing.
He's got a hard job too, so...
Yeah, he works like fucking...
Tough retail management.
Yeah, retail management. He works stupid hours a week, and fucking, sure, if you're looking after a family as well as fucking everything else, it's going to get on top of you. Like, ultimately, trying to maintain the size of your circle is a losing battle. All you can do is hope to keep a couple of core friends there over the years, and you know, hope to God that they outlive you, so they have to deal with that.
Yeah,
that's the best you can hope for.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it fucking reminds me of anytime I'd be in a bit of a ball of depression, which I'm no stranger to.
You do love that depression, lad. I don't know how many fucking times I told you to just don't bother with it, like, but you're fucking obsessed.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. It's just, it's very alluring or something.
It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, why are you depressed again? Didn't I tell you not to do that?
Yeah, this is it. Sure. Fucking, whenever I'd be in one of those states anyways, I remember I used to always be getting threats from the 2 boys anyways that... were I ever to act on it and top myself or anything like that they would proceed to tell everyone at the crowd, or at everyone in the crowd at the funeral, that I was in fact all my life a raging bender and loved nothing more than a good throbbing flute in and around my
like
mouth.
Fucking, if you ever top yourself, like, I'm going to be telling everyone that you were found with a belt around your neck watching gay porn, and it was an accident that actually, you liked a bit of choky porn, like.
That's it. A solid enough deterrent.
It would be, yeah. Nobody wants to be left with that reputation, like,
The only danger is my more nihilistic fucking tendencies would tell me this kind of like, yeah, but as soon as you're dead, it'll be as if you never existed in the first place. So let them say what they want. But look, sure, we'll try not to go there.
No, I think your ego has a little bit to say about that now.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't think any man would be happy going to the grave knowing that there's the majority of people are laughing at them. Yeah,
Yeah, I've come to kind of realize I'm the hero and the villain of my own story, in that my ego will save me from things like, topping myself, but it will also be the cause of maybe the reasons that would have me thinking about topping myself. Like, it's like, well, yeah, you created this problem and you sold yourself the solution to it, and it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy and an endless dance of nonsense. But so
I think on that note we might end it there.
Grand. Yeah.
Yeah, so if any want to see more of PJ or even hear more of PJ, he's his own channel on YouTube here. I've mentioned it at the start of the video, hopefully, if I recorded that.
Yeah, Ducky was in an episode of it there fucking, what was it, 2 months ago or so now? Yeah, so 7 episodes into this wee little fucking animation jobby that I'm currently doing, and hopefully I can get that fucking thing off the ground. So if you want to see some silly old stories that don't really mean anything,
very, very Irish humour focused.
Yeah, pretty much. With an undercurrent of fucking nihilism here and there.
And cynicism, yeah.
Yeah, and cynicism and whatnot. Like, I got a nice comment off of someone that said to me that it was like someone put South Park and Father Ted in a blender. I was well happy with that. So
yeah, so if you want to check out PJ there, and his channel is called Just a Tip. You'll find that
2 P's.
2 P's, yeah, just a tip. You'll find the link for that in the description, and I'll put it on the pinned comment below. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Sound.